Hello folks, this is Mike, PC31 the Vinyl Policeman, and this is a video in response to Brian, the EmbryonicRobot's Thread of Threads. Brian's come up with this cracking idea. He's trying to think. Brian said there's not enough threads around at the moment, so he's come out with one, and I say it's Thread of Threads, looking at the more sartorial side of album covers, which is a really good idea actually. So he wants 10, I think he wants 10 in this thread. So the first one I've come out with is from 1990, their 10th album, The Stranglers, and from a clothing point of view, I just think this is an incredible cover. I'd imagine most of you have seen this, but maybe what everybody doesn't realise is every single one of those characters is the Stranglers, and there that you've got all the world leaders at the time in 1990, or a lot of the world leaders. You've got, Yasser Arafat, Ranjit Gandhi, Pope John Paul II, Mikhail Gorbachev, Fidel Castro, got George Bush there, Gaddafi, Benazir Bhutto, Joshua Nkomo, and JJ Bernal dressed up as Margaret Thatcher. With classic Stranglers cover where they just really don't care too much. You got Hugh Cornwall. This was Hugh Cornwall's last album with the Stranglers, and he's dressed up as George Bush there, and there he is. But he's also dressed up as Rajiv Gandhi. He's Gaddafi. But you've got there Dave Greenwood, Jet Black, JJ Bernal, and Hugh Cornwall, the original Stranglers lineup. Interesting enough, JJ Bernal, he's the one who's volunteered to dress up as the two women, Margaret Thatcher and Benazir Bhutto. So great album cover, fantastic. So lots of different fashions in there, and a silhouette on the actual label. So the second one I'm going to show, look away now, Ben Rankins. In fact, leave the room, because this may be bad for your mental health. But I'm going to show some. Has he gone? Yeah, I think he's gone. Right, okay. I'm going to show Red Stripe. So a single man, and he's standing there outside Windsor Castle, and look at the way he's dressed. Fantastic. Top hat, tails. Elton's flavour of the month in the UK at the moment, because he's just headlined on the Heritage stage at Glastonbury, and he went down a storm. 120,000 people watched him, which I think is a record for Glastonbury for one artist, and also just under 8 million tuned in on UK television, which is again a record for Glastonbury. But and that was in theory his last UK show. He's got one more show to do on the tour, I think, in Zurich, and then he's retiring, obviously. Centre covered, Elton again, dressed wonderfully in a Jaguar, sitting in a Jaguar. And the back cover, walking there. So interesting enough, this album was the first album where Bernie Taupin hadn't written the lyrics, and he didn't write the lyrics on the next one as well, Victim of Love, but then he comes back again. So yeah, no Bernie Taupin. Part-Time Love was the single from this one. So the third one I'm going to show is Bebop Deluxe, their fourth album from 1976, and look how Bill Nelson and the boys are dressed there. Suited and booted. Ties, suits, looking very, very snazzy. This is the album after, the fourth album, this is the one after their masterpiece, in my opinion, Sunburst Finished. But modern music from 1976. So the next one I'm going to show you is, again, because of the cover, but this is a uniform this time, and this is the Kinks. This is the compilation album, the King Chronicles from 1972. I think it only came out in the US at that time, but it's been reissued, and it's a fantastic album. The tracks on this particular compilation, a double album, this is a reissue one, but the tracks, none of them were chosen by the Kinks. This was a contractual obligation, and at the time the record company, they actually, the record company, which was Reprise, of course it was. They got a rock journalist who was kind of really into the Kinks to actually select what tracks. But it's a great track listing actually. It covers Kinks tracks from 66 to 71. So you haven't got All Day and All Night, You Really Got Me. It tends to be kind of album tracks, B-sides, and all the singles from that period. So there's some absolutely fantastic things on there. But the reason why I've chosen this one is because what you've got on the front there is you've got a soldier from the Household Cavalry. He will be from the lifeguards, and the reason for that, you can tell, is because of his red tunic and the white plume in his helmet there. And on the other side you've got the foot guards, and one of the guys I play with, the violin player, he was actually in the Scots Guards, and if he was here he could tell you so much about everything to do with the uniform. But I know that, I mean, there was 5 regiments in the foot guards, and basically this is either the Irish Guards or the Coldstream, because the plumage is on the right hand side and you can't see the plume here. So, but anyway, uniforms, Kinks Chronicles. So the next one I want to show is Young Teenage Boy's Delight, Susie's debut album from 1973. This is the Susie in her absolute prime there, fantastic. This is the so the debut album, which had 48 Crash on, and I think the US copies also had Can the Can, but this is a UK original on rack, but the UK originals only had 48 Crash on. But look at the way they're dressed, pure dirty rock and roll, leather jackets, vests, beer, hands down the trousers. Wonderful stuff. Susie Quattro, marvellous. Next one I'm going to show is this is, I don't know if I'm breaking the rules here, Brian, but I'll go for it anyway. Just looking at covers, and not so much the way folks are dressed, but just particular covers. And I know he looked at some nudity on different covers and things. Well, what I've taken here is the beautiful covers of this Mortar Coil, where they had Pallas Citroni, the model. She appears on all 3. So this is this Mortar Coil on 4AD, and they had a collaboration, a collective, who made 3 albums. So It'll End in Tears being the first one, and that's this stunning atmospheric cover of Pallas Citroni on the cover there. And the second album, which is probably my favourite, which is Filigree and Shadow, and you really can, it's got a cover on, I know, but the quality of the photograph is absolutely staggering on this one. It's beautiful, and again it's Pallas Citroni again, Citrone on the back. Beautiful covers. And on the third album, which I've only got a CD of, Blood, again she appears again. So she is the thread. Although the musicians changed in the actual collective on these records, and they do swap around different musicians, different lead vocals, etc., she was the actual common thread which ran through it all. So again, probably breaking the rules, Brian, but there we go. Now I just had to show this one. When it comes to fashion on a cover, I couldn't not show this one. Now Brian actually showed this one in his actual video to start this thread off, but I just had to show it because it's the greatest heavy rock album ever, and the cover I just love. The Sabotage Black Sabbath, from their 6th album from 1975, and this is the one where the actual album shoot itself was sabotaged in respect that when the boys turned up, they were told that it was only a test shoot. So basically, kind of, just come as you are or bring some stage gear. So Bill Ward turns up in his wife's red tights, very Sabbath, and they're told that they're going to be all dressed in black for this album cover shoot, but the designers haven't got all the black suits ready yet. But they carry on with the test shoot. The designers say, don't worry about it, we'll superimpose, we'll Photoshop it afterwards, so everything will be okay. But then time runs out, budget runs out, And this ends up being the cover. Just what a fantastic cover that is. Look, Ozzy in a smock, Bill in his wife's tights, just fantastic. And I've also got a Russian copy of this, so I'll just show you that quickly as well. There we go. A quick pause. I think this is Amazon. Yes, it was Amazon. Another one of these books that Steve, All the World's a Stage, recommends and reads. He's got a whole series of them. I won't tell you which one. I'll save that for another video, folks, but very exciting. Oh, by the way, Ben, you can come back in now. Ben, you can come back in now. Elton's gone. Okay, next one, folks. Slade. And this is Slade's second album. The first one was a bit of a flop on Fontana Beginnings. It was mostly covers and wasn't very inspiring. But although this is their second one, this is from 1970. Chas Chandler, who was their manager at the time, ex-Animals bass player, Jimi Hendrix manager, he was Slade's manager. He said, right, okay, we need to do something different. So we got the long-haired guys of Slade. He said, let's get a skinhead image. So he made them shave off all their hair, braces, bobber boots, Dr. Martin boots. The band absolutely hated it, especially Jim Lee and Dave Hill, the bass player and the lead guitarist. Absolutely hated it, but I don't think any of the band really liked it. And but this is a good album, actually, produced by Chas Chandler. And there's still a couple of covers on this, but this is where Chas Chandler really encouraged them to start writing their own material. So most of the album is Noddy and Jim Lee, who have written tracks on the album. But anyway, getting back to fashion. Sorry, Brian. So skinhead fashion that Slade dabbled with for a while, didn't like. I don't think the crowd particularly liked, the audience didn't particularly like it either. And then obviously glam rock was around the corner and this image completely changed. Okay, next one is a bootleg of The Clash, the Boston tapes. But look at this fantastic cover. Look at the boys there. Look at the attitude, and although it's a bit kind of, you know, posed because of the sleeveless jackets and all the rest of it, fantastic. This is with Terry Chimes on drums, because Topper Headon had gone into a bit of his drug spiral at the time, and he was sacked from the band at that time. And Terry Chimes, who was the original drummer, came back in for the Combat Rock tour, effectively the end of '82. This particular one is from 7th and the 8th of September 1982, recorded at the Orpheum Theatre, Boston, Massachusetts. And look at the fantastic set list there. London Calling, Jenny Jones, The Call Up, Brand New Cadillac, Somebody Got Murdered, Fought the Law, Clamped Down, Should I Stay, Should I Go, Straight to Hell, Clash 3 Rockers. Just a wonderful set list. And but I just love that picture and what they've got on. Absolutely fantastic. Staying with the Clash theme. So this is when Mick Jones left the Clash. He formed Big Audio Dynamite, Bad, and this was, I've got albums there, but this is a 12-inch single. And again, just look at what the guys are wearing there. You've got this naval uniform here. You got a couple of dodgy roll necks at the top there. Mick's looking very, very suave. Don Letts there. Guys look very, very snazzy. Anyway, great thread, but the last thing I'm going to show, which doesn't need any words at all, but when it comes to sartorial elegance, the king of rock and roll when it comes to image and style and authenticity is the man in the background. Look at that. Doesn't he look absolutely magnificent? Keith Richards. Look at that coat, that swagger, that attitude. Absolutely authentic rock and roll at its best. Fantastic. Right, great threads. Brian, that was good getting all those albums together. So, speak again, folks. Thanks, bye.